Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another special edition stream, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to talk about Arsenal today. Different topic, you get me. No more general topics, specific topics today. So we're going to be talking about Arsenal Football Club today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about Arteta. Is Isak to Arsenal too unrealistic, or is it a genuine possibility, or is it just going to be Sesko? We're going to be reviewing Arsenal if you would like. So that's going to be the conversation for today. Joining me first and foremost, if this microphone falls off one more time, I'm going to genuinely get a hammer and break it right now. This is what happens when you buy. Actually, this is the original microphone stand. See, it literally just unplugged. Well, that's great to start off the show. So I'm gonna have to hold it with my hand like this. So joining us on the channel first and foremost is the biggest fraud in the Arsenal universe, but he's here. You get me to express his fraudulence publicly. Man, like Egal as the building. How do you Egal?
Listen, I have a beef with Val. Every time I look at a picture, he makes it worse. This time he made me look like I had surgery. Go look at the picture. It looks like I have plastic surgery. What's going on, Val?
Hey.
If you need some photos, I'll send you some photos. You know where to find me. Because this is
Val, I know you're probably listening, so you get me. Come on, Val. Come on. We need to up our thumbnails game. That's why Faz cooked you on the review thing. You get me. Faz on the tier list thing. He cooked Val's thumbnails. Like, I don't like his thumbnail.
Yeah, true. Yeah, man.
Joining us next on the channel, you get me. Everyone's favorite ginger fraud after LB. You get me? He's here. But he's a celebrity, you guys, so he has to leave at 3:30.
He's got an appointment with BT Sports.
Yeah, he's a celebrity, you know. He's busy working with Talk Sport and Sky Sport and all that. You know, he's lost the true grit of Highbury now. He's become the Emirates version of Dan Potts. How you doing, Dan Potts?
What an intro! What an intro! Thank you, bro. Listen, man, I'm good, and I've been enjoying the sunshine. I'm starting to become a tomato again, Hassan, which is always good for you. You always appreciate that. And I'm actually going to big up Vil because I like that picture of me. He's done well. He's done well, man. I look cool.
But look at me. That doesn't even look like me.
I don't know.
That looks like you. That's literally you. That's your
I would say it's not a bad picture, you know.
That's your Twitter profile picture, no?
I mean, it looks. If you said to me, "Who's this?" I would say Egal. If you looked and said, "Who's this?" It's Bhavs, and then everyone should know that's me. It's just I've got a pair of sunnies on. I'm looking pretty suave. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hey, big up. And speaking of Bhavs, you get me making his debut on the channel. First time coming on the channel and here to talk about Arsenal as well. Gonna be very interesting. You get me. Bhavs, how you doing, brother? You good?
Yes, my people. How we all doing? Live and direct on Don Hassan TV. Appreciate the invite as always. And yeah, man. Hopefully, you guys are doing well.
Yeah, what's good, Bhavs? How you been, man?
All good, man. All good. I saw the controversy this week, though. Saeed's been feeding the entire community. I've been asked to comment a few times. I said, no comment.
No, I mean, I did a whole reaction to the tier list. I spoke about
unlike you guys, I didn't even make it. So I was like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy, Egal. You should have made that. I would have put you in GOAT. 100% I would have put you in GOAT. Big up to you, Egal. Big up to you. Mina, why do you come to me like as a United fan? You just arrive in this chat every time I have bad news. Why don't you come like, can you just come here one time and actually have...
Love that.
No, but like, can you just come here one time when I have like good stuff? Like, can you just tell me congratulations on a win?
You know, the funniest thing yesterday on your stream with Callum and Drifty was when you give it to Don on stream. That was the funniest thing. I've not laughed so much in so much time. I literally could not stop laughing. I had to keep replaying
because you know who's not going to cook me? A Chelsea fan is not going to cook me. Let's establish this. A Chelsea fan is not going to talk. Like they spent all August, September, October chatting shit, and now they're below Nottingham Forest. So let's not even go there. You get Let's speak about the biggest club in London.
Every time. She called the Kevin.
Let's speak about the biggest club in London. Big up to all of you guys. Make sure guys in the chat, by the way, are liking and subscribing. Please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe. We have hit 48.7k. We're on the road to 49k, and after that 50k, inshallah, big 50k. So big up to you guys. Bhavs 14 is in the description. Go give him subscribe. Egal Talks Football in the description. Give him subscribe. And the Football 12th Man is in the description. Go give him a subscribe. So the first topic we have to start with, of course, Mikel. You get me? This is the biggest conversation in the Arsenal community right now. It is, and there's no denying it. Whether you're an outer or an inner or in the middle or sitting on the fence. And before, you guys know how we do it on this channel. Bhavs, I know it's your first time as well, but we do like more open floor settings, so it's not turns and stuff. We just talking. But I will start off with Potts on this one because he's the one with the differing opinion. So tell me your thoughts on Mikel Arteta and the job he's done so far for Arsenal.
On the job he's done so far, I think it's been a good job to get us back challenging, but I don't want to be challenging, do I? I want to be winning. And for me, he's got to deliver now after the money that he spent and what time and patience the fan base have had to have over 5 years. If you haven't brought a trophy since the FA Cup that you won with the team that was deemed as toxic and had to be ripped up, you've put your team together and won nothing with it. There's got to be pressure and it's got to be time to deliver now. I felt like we should have won a trophy this season and hope we win the Champions League, but I think we all know that's probably not going to happen. Real Madrid are probably going to beat us over 2 legs, but, you know, let's never say never. When I look at the situation of what Mikel could do this season, I do appreciate that there's been some injuries and I do appreciate that there's been some red cards and I do appreciate there's been some refereeing decisions. However, they are not the reasons as to why we didn't win the league. The reason we haven't won the league is because Mikel Arteta just haven't been able to get this team across the line yet again. And I do believe there's definitely a scenario where people can be patient and give time and allow there to be a process to take place and allow there to be years and seasons for him to go across the line. But for me right now, if he doesn't win the Champions League, I'll be looking to get a proper serious winner in that can actually get us across the line now. Whether it's a Diego Simeone, whether it's Simone Inzaghi, whether it's Carlo Ancelotti, whatever it be, that's where I stand on Mikel Arteta. If he can prove to me that he can win a Champions League, hail him. Yeah, unbelievable. I think he's done good things. I think, however, this season, the change in the style has been probably one of the worst Arsenals I've seen in a long time. Watching Arsenal is really, really tough. It's a chore. Trying to look at set pieces to win games isn't how I wanted to be 5 years in. 750 mil spent. Still not bought a striker in 5 years. I think that's on Mikel. For whatever reason, he doesn't seem to want that. You give him 750 million and he still hasn't bought a striker with it, but he's happy to stack the defence and the midfield. I think we need to be asking questions there. And that's why I feel I've been patient, and I've not just been patient with Mikel, by the way. I've been patient for 21 years to win a Premier League. We've been patient as a fan base to win over 30 years without a League Cup and a Europa or a European Cup. So now it's time to deliver. And I do believe there should be pressure on Mikel Arteta 100%. I don't think there's anybody that can say to me that with a trophyless season this season, if we don't win the Champions League, that he's had a great season at Arsenal. I think he's failed. I think it's been a poor season. And I think the standards of the club needs to be where they were when I was winning, when I was growing up. Not, we give him another few seasons. Because of the referee didn't like him that year, or because he didn't have a striker. Well, that's on him. Yeah. The injuries were definitely not all to do with injuries. You look at why we have got Sterling to back up Saka. Why have we got Mikel Merino and Calafiori? Why was that our summer window? Why have we gone to January and bought nobody when we could have got XYZ? Now I'll wait till the summer. Well, I tell you what, we better have a bloody good summer. Let me tell you that. Because if that summer window shuts and we still don't have what we need, then I think it's time for a lot of people at the club to look at themselves, not just Mikel. That's where I'm at. But look, Egal and Bhavs see things very differently to me. I think there's a rumour that Bhavs is doing Mikel's lawn at the moment and Egal's cooking him breakfast. But, we'll see what happens. The pair of them absolutely love on Mikel. So I'm a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it is.
How am I getting this in my own channel, Fonzie? You're a fraud for this, but thanks for big up the pan. I'm telling you in the chat, don't be disrespectful. Anyone disrespectful is gonna get banned. And you're telling me, big up everyone except you. Fuck you, Fonzie. This is why you're Canadian. How about that, you fraud? Anyway, go ahead, Egal. And Bhavs as well. Talk to me about the manager.
First of all, happy birthday to Mikel Arteta. Today, I think he turns 43. So
It's
happy birthday to him. Yeah, it's actually his birthday today. And what is it? 276 games in charge. One of the best winning percentages in Arsenal's history.
It actually is his birthday, 26th that month.
Yeah, it is his birthday today. And I just want to say, Mikel Arteta, in his time at Arsenal, I feel like there's never been a dull moment. From when he walked in, COVID, having a captain who's missing training sessions and showing up late to North London derbies, having a team that was struggling, getting us back into a situation where we have some stability, building a team out, and also winning a trophy with that team that had all the instability, which got a manager sacked off the back of going to a a Europa League final and everything else. Well, with Unai Emery, you've seen how the club ended up, and Mikel Arteta took up a big off task in his first job, and I think he's done a decent job to get us back to a level where we're competing. And then over the last 3 years, I feel like his own hard work has left people with a little bit of like, you know what, wanting more, because of the fact that we've gone so far. They're like, we're so close now, we need to get over the line, almost ignoring the journey and how far we've come, and how Mikel Arteta, a lot of people behind the scenes have been so integral to getting Arsenal back to this level. And it's not just Arteta. As much as I didn't like Edu. I thought Edu had a big role to play with working with Arteta, recruiting some of these players like Partey, Gabriel, Odegaard, and everybody else that we added into this team to get us to the level that we're at. We've done a decent job. Now, I do agree with Dan. We need to get over the line. But every time we mention Arteta, it doesn't only need to go back to that. We also have to acknowledge that we have gone a long way with Arteta, and it is time to start delivering. But I do think the team is not complete yet. Although I do think even without a complete team, you can win the league, and maybe with some luck, we could have won the league this year. But Mikel Arteta has done a decent job in his time here, and to now do a great job, we need to start adding the league titles and the major silverware. The FA Cup's been great, Community Shield's been great, but we need the actual real cake, not just the icing. And I do agree with Dan on that part. But yeah, Mikel Arteta, I think he's done a good job at Arsenal, blending the youth and the experience. And now we just need to blend some more experience with the youth and get this team finally over that line.
Bhavs?
Where do I stand on Mikel Arteta? Well, my invoice hasn't been paid this month, so I'm gonna say I'll get him out of the club now. Listen, it's pros and cons to it, isn't it? Like, the way we see it is, he's coming, he has improved Arsenal. You know, I think 2022-23 was kind of a shock to everyone, because we all thought, we finished fifth, let's get Champions League football. We skipped the entire phase of that and just went straight towards fighting for a title. And I think that's why last year, when you got so close to it, was it 2 points off City at the end of the day, you thought, okay, look, make a couple signings and get over the line. I think the reason why a lot of Arsenal fans are in the right position to call Arteta out now is because this year, with no Man City winning the title and Liverpool coming out of nowhere as well, when no one expected it, Mikel Arteta was always going to get, slander for that, because you're the team that has pushed City for the last 2 years. The team's come out of nowhere in his first season and they've gone and done a crazy season. I think that's where a lot of Arsenal fans are growing impatient. And for me, the way I see it, because I've always felt like Mikel has put us in the right pathway, I think I'm giving him one more season. I'm not going to give him 2, 3, 4 more years. I think the idea behind it for me is, yeah, have we been a little bit lucky this season? Yeah, but most teams certainly are. But I feel like what we have in our team, the way I always see it is, if you sack Mikel Arteta and you get Simeone Inzaghi in this season, if he loses his key attackers and he loses his key midfielders and has players, missing for suspension as well, they're all going to struggle. And I feel like with the pieces that we have right now in our squad, we're not far off, I think, getting the complete squad. And that's why I'm willing to give him that season. But again, it goes for both sides. It goes from the manager, it goes for the board. If the board don't back Mikel, then Mikel's got his hands behind his back. People talk about how much money he spent. Everyone spends money. Everyone spent money. Apart from maybe Liverpool, everyone spends money. But yeah, I think next season, rather than excited, I'm more intrigued. I want to see what Arsenal do in this transfer window. Because if we sign the right players, you can get excited. But we've seen with Chelsea year after year, they sign the players that everyone wants to sign, and then they end up kind of getting worse, surprisingly. So for me, I don't know what to expect from next season right now. I definitely don't put us anywhere near like title.
Don't you think better manager would have readjusted better with the injury situation?
We have adjusted though, in a sense. But our flaw this season has been second. We don't have I don't think anyone does, to be quite honest, like Liverpool or City, the bench players to go win the title. Where Liverpool have had, you think about Liverpool's team, Virgil van Dijk, Trent, not Papa but Trent, Alisson, Salah, these are like Premier League all-timers, if you think about it. So when you've got most of that core spine fit, and you're thinking about taking Arsenal's version of Salah, which is our main goal-scoring threat, and Bukayo Saka out, I don't think any team would have thrived in that circumstance. I mean, you take out Haaland from City or Salah from Liverpool, so there's the sense of both sides in that, but I don't think Arsenal fans want to hear that, because you can't go this long without a trophy at a big club. And totally right, because we have to keep that standard as a fan base. Because if we keep letting the club get away with it, we're going to end up in a situation with like Tottenham are, where you're just kind of happy to be here. We can't be happy to be here. We have to act like a big club. So that's why, look, this summer, it comes from the board and, of course, the manager as well. Sign the right players. Show the investment. Show the ambition as well. Because for all we are right now, which is a doom and gloom, which is a failure of a season, you sign a centre forward, you sign a wide forward. My key area to address is creativity. I talked about signing a striker and signing a goal scorer, but you can have a great goal scorer, but if you don't create chances for him consistently, you're going to struggle. And I think Arsenal are too scripted right now. You can predict how Arsenal are going to play because of how much control Mikel Arteta wants. That's where I think he needs to improve. But it's finding a balance. You know, you don't get to 89 points with that style of play and it be bad. But if you can add to it, improve to it, and adapt on a game-by-game scenario, I don't see why Arsenal can't improve next season. We definitely will if we sign the right players. And again, look, it goes towards Liverpool. They're going to have a big summer as well. They might lose Trent, but they will sign out, I think, a top forward potentially. Nunes could be going to Saudi Arabia as well. Man City, I'm not quite sure just yet. And I say that because Rodriguez comes back and they've got the players as well. But with the core title-winning team, like I think Bernardo Silva obviously could be leaving. Kyle Walker's left as well. Kevin De Bruyne could be leaving as well. They're going to have maybe a little rebuild there. So we're not quite sure if it's the same City as years prior. So yeah, next year I'm intrigued, but there's a lot of pressure. And I don't think if he doesn't deliver a title next year, even with injuries, I think, you know, we're going to have to move on and look past it and go, look, Mikel's done his job. He's stabilised the ship. But you have to obviously go and win that title as well. And I think we've got a cool young players there that are 24 and 25 younger. Any top manager comes in, he will make changes. But if the right change is to win the title, then who gives a crap?
Do you not agree though, Bhavs, that like Egal and other people said the same as you're just saying last year? If he doesn't win something next year, I'm going to be with all the people.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think there's a lot of bias, obviously, towards Mikel as well. Because when you're so invested in that process of Mikel, and it's also about being right and wrong, I think if I'm reading here, if you back Mikel Arteta and you feel he can win the title for you, not only is it a win for your club, but on the ego side of things, you're like, oh yeah, I can show it to the guys that don't want Mikel Arteta, and yeah, this is the guy. But I also feel like right now, there's two sides to it. If you look at objectively, as I said, with the whole Saka and Salah type of stuff, you take out any team's top attacker, they're all going to struggle. And then you sack Mikel Arteta, and you bring in an Inzaghi, or who else did you name down? You name Inzaghi, Ancelotti, whoever it is, I still feel like they struggle in that scenario. But the issue we have is Liverpool won the title. That's the real issue. But again, there's both sides to it. I think injuries always take a lot of people's seasons. I think last year Newcastle was a good example of it. Newcastle really struggled with injuries and they didn't get a Champions League places and people thought, okay, maybe Eddie Howe's project's coming to an end. This year, with a bit of luck, keeping their key players fit, they've won the Carabao Cup now. Everyone goes, oh, Newcastle are a serious team now, and no one's questioning Eddie Howe. But the key part is getting over the line. And I don't really think it's the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. No disrespect to it. Arsenal fans have waited too long for a title like that or a trophy like that. It has to be a Champions League, a Premier League. I don't think it'll be the Champions League this season. I don't think we had the firepower to go beat Real Madrid. And if we even somehow dare do that, we don't have the moment players to go and win that trophy. But the title next year for me.
Why don't we have the firepower, Bhavs?
Because look, right now, our key attacker is just going to come back. But you know what? Even with Saka, I'm going to be real with you. I don't think with even Bukayo fit, we saw it last year against Bayern. It's that scriptedness. It's the predictability.
What I'm getting at is even if the players were fit, I still wouldn't have confidence.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's why I think there needs to be improvement. That's why I'm questioning Mikel Arteta and his philosophy almost in terms of creativity.
But if the players were fit, wouldn't you have confidence in us?
I'd have more confidence.
Challenging in the league more.
Because I don't think we're as complete as maybe some of us fans thought. And I think this year's exposed it. But even last year, if we look at it, I know we got to 89 points, so we had that great run to the end of the season. But when a team nullified us and played that mid-block and played to our weaknesses, maybe Porto in the Champions League, Villa in the Premier League, we struggled. And I think the fact that we haven't solved
Real Madrid are going to play a low block. Real Madrid are not going to play.
They can. Trust me, they can. Ask Man City fans last season. They can. That's what I think a lot of Arsenal fans don't realise. But Real Madrid last year, I think I saw a report about it where they were saying that how Mikel played against City, the Etihad, Carlo used that as an example of how to then go play against City. So they can play a low block. And what thing with Madrid is you can play the perfect tactical game, but they can get the referee decision, they can get a bit of block. So you don't have to just be great tactically. You have
Madrid is the most satanistic club in the universe when it comes to the Champions League.
That's what I find funny because I saw some fans on Twitter, not Liverpool fans, just some fans on Twitter when I think we drew them saying, oh, we're going to support Madrid now. I'm like, bro, they beat the Champions League finals. They're taking your best right back.
Yeah, surely you hate
How are you supporting them?
Yeah,
but I think the hatred to Arsenal this year, I think I'm partly responsible, to be quite honest. apparently my comment that I made back in November that I thought City were our biggest threats was very disrespectful. I still don't think it is personally. When I say that, because
Indeed.
the context I was taken in was very wrong. I didn't say Liverpool are bad. I even said in the comment Liverpool are great, but that City deserve more respect for all they've done in the previous years. And I think Liverpool fans know that more than anyone.
Did you
You know,
not
we've
though,
all-
Bhavs, ignore Liverpool's quality a little bit? Like real talk.
I underplayed it, 100%. I underplayed it. It's not ignoring the quality, but it's going, look, City have caused me my pain. City have caused Liverpool their pain. So if I then go and said, I think Liverpool are the favourites now, City fans will be on to me. Oh, well, we're the title winners though. We're the 4 time in a row winners. It was a lose-lose situation, but I think it was out of context. I think Liverpool fans believe that I have underplayed them though. You know, I didn't think they were going to win a title this year. So they have really come through and just showed the quality. But again, it goes down to the old-timers. They've got proper all-time players there. So
But
there's a
let's not
respect
act
and
like
everything
it's not a
else.
surprise, Babs. It is a surprise
No,
that Liverpool won the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's a surprise to me. So it was a shock at the time. But at the time, I think they started the season well. They just drawn Chelsea, or beaten Chelsea, sorry, and they've drawn Arsenal. And I was like, they look good. But I was looking at basing it of previous years, but that was a mistake on my own because I realized that Premier League's so unpredictable.
Do
And
you not
every
think
year
though,
there's a
right?
surprise.
Do you not think, and this is something you do, Egal, when we look at Arsenal when the window shuts, we think, right, who's got the best 11 here? Who's got the best squad here? Who do we think is going to go and win the league? And what I hear, and Egal, you do this, and other people do as well, we need Rodri to then get injured. We need Liverpool to lose Salah. We need all these guys to get injured. We need to go over it. No, you do, Egal. You're shaking your head. That's what you do. And you've said it to me, when Liverpool fall off, it's going to be
You have said
beautiful.
it to me as
Players
well. I
leave.
can lie to
When
you.
all their players leave, when Rodri gets injured, Arsenal can then win the league. Why can't we just go and win the league when everyone's fit?
Yeah, I think
Why
that's the
can't we
key
have
thing.
the best 11 and they all have the best 11?
To be devil's advocate, Liverpool this season have faced a season where majority of their top opponents have had catastrophic issues. Have no fault of their own.
Oh,
And
God.
no fault of their own. It is a fact that Rodri got injured, Saka got injured, and other
But
teams.
did I debunk this point already
Hussam,
with you?
Once again,
debunked
I'm not saying Liverpool don't deserve to win the league. You deserve to win the league. You played well.
But even the
No
point that you
fault of
said,
your own. No fault
even
of your
the point
own.
that you said, Egal, you faced
No,
West
no.
Ham at the Emirates
This is-
without
this is-
Paqueta, without Soufal, without Somerville,
Yes,
and you ended
but
up losing.
we've also seen
Come
Liverpool
on.
drop a lot of points, and Arsenal, if we did have our fit team, I do think we can maybe claw it back and challenge a little bit better if we had a full team. Now, my point is not to take away from Liverpool, is to point out that every title-winning side has some sort of luck go their way or some things go their way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying
But
everything
that's
needs
not
to fall
true once
apart.
again.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
do,
saying
but-
everything needs to fall
Yeah, that's
apart.
not true.
I'm just saying
Do you know what I'll say though?
there's certain things that can go our way. That can
You went to Old Trafford as an
we're in a
example.
better
They didn't have
situation.
Diallo, they didn't have Lisandro Martinez, they didn't have like
but
the best.
I'm not
centre-back.
talking about ridiculous things. I'm just simply saying Trent's leaving. In the case that one of Salah or Van Dijk don't then sign their deal, it is a benefit to Arsenal or Man
Yeah,
City.
we're gonna be in a top 4 race if one of the others leaves.
Okay, and then the next point is, as Bav said, Man City are going to have to be in a rebuild. Some of the things that they do this summer, if it doesn't go right for them,
But you realize you just proved
there.
Potts' point like 5 seconds later. Here's the
I
problem.
know, but I was trying to give.
you did
I
prove
think
the
the
point.
way that
You want to
you
know
think
why?
it-
Because you're saying you need everything to go your way to win the league,
No,
and
that's
I'm
not
here
what
to
I'm
tell
saying.
you nothing will ever always go your way.
That's not
Something,
what
some shit will happen
Yeah,
at
like
some point.
you could win a
Okay,
title.
that's
and you
not
could
what
lose
I'm
a star
saying.
boy.
No, I'm saying certain things do go. Certain things coming off the back of this summer could end up benefiting Arsenal externally, not even internally. Like if we could do whatever we need to do to improve our team, right? But if Man City go and not improve their team to a level where they can compete next season, that will benefit you externally. You get what I'm saying?
I guess so, but do you know what? I think that point of view, it's not something I agree with personally. The reason why I say that is because you can only control what's in your power. So looking at Liverpool this season, I'm not looking at them going, how can I get them to drop points? I'm looking at our draws, so 10 draws this season. How can we turn 6 of them into wins to be on that level points to Liverpool right now?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the bigger question needs to be, where, cool, what's been our biggest issue in those games that we've drawn? Creativity. Playing against lob looks, lack of innovation, a lack of, a ball carrying to that final third. That's what I'm looking to improve this summer. It's not about next year, because look, it's unpredictable. Yeah, cool, Liverpool could lose Salah and whatever, but that's not in our control. So I don't think Mikel Arteta sits in meetings and goes, right, how do we get Salah injured? It goes, okay, how can I improve creativity? So I think that's what we need to be focused on this summer. If we can address it, and the funniest thing is that we can sign the players. It doesn't mean it works out. I've seen players come to teams, they look like Chelsea, as I said, are the best example. If you ask Arsenal fans about Moses Caicedo, and I'm not saying he's even a flop, by the way, but most players that Chelsea have signed, every club would have taken. Yeah, this player makes sense on paper. He's the most exciting. He's got the best compilations on YouTube. But then about fitting in the environment as well. If you make too many changes, it could hurt you as well. I actually think part of Liverpool's success this year has been the fact that they haven't made that many
Stability.
changes. And having that stability of players that have worked on the club as well, and the chemistry from beforehand has helped Schlott. I think if he'd signed Szoboszlai this season, he would have taken time to bed in. But I think he's been there for 2 years now, or a year now at least. So he's had more time to get his flow, build a partnership with Mo Salah as well. So it's going to be a fine margin next season about how we can change, but also not make too much without disrupting the flow of the team. But yeah, I think Dan talked about this year, Arsenal this season, and we've changed. I think the thing is that we've not changed from last season. We've kind of been the same, become more predictable, given teams more time to tactically adjust against us. And that's been a major issue as well. Will Saka returning save it? Yes, it will, but to an extent only. And I think that's why even this year, I know a lot of Arsenal fans are guessing the return of Saka. They're like, oh yeah, Saka's back. We can win the Champions League now. I don't know, because he's just come back from a hamstring tear. That's not easy. He's a player that doesn't rely fully on his explosive ability, but he's a winger, so you need it for an extent. So this season, in my eyes, it's a lot of scores. We've failed. It's hurt us. Liverpool deserve their flowers, and we're just going to have to hold it for now. Hopefully rebuild in the summer, but if it's not the case then. But the positive thing is we have a young core there. So even if Mikel isn't the guy, we've got another a group of players there that another top manager could, take over the line.
There's a key word you said, stability. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I don't want to shake up too much at Arsenal, because I feel like getting rid of Mikel Arteta is not necessarily the best thing at this moment in time due to that stability that he has been able to implement at Arsenal. And I don't think he's been the issue. I do look at our squad and I say where we can improve is definitely in the attacking third. And if we do add the right attacking depth, I do think that could take us to another level.
Let me just do these couple of these super chats before we speak about Isak. Also, guys, we do have 1,100 people in here. Can we get the likes up, you bunch of frauds? We're talking about the Arsenal conversion rate of the forward line, and you guys have even worse conversion because we have 170 likes out of 1,100 people. That's 10%, you guys. Come on, let's get the likes up. Let's get to 300, 400 likes now. Big up to all of you guys. Big up to Fonzie, who says, happy birthday, Arteta, first celebration in 5 years. You're such a fraud, Fonzie. Big up to you. Thank you for the super chat. Mo Bata says, as a Chelsea fan, Arteta is a legend. Arsenal has done great. Fairs. 1.5 billion. And you're crap. Why does Arsenal need everything to go their way to win? That was the point that Dan Potts made. And then Bhavs said that they don't need everything to go to win. And then Egal proved Potts' point like 5 seconds later. He's like, oh yeah, like City are gonna need a rebuild, and if Salah leave and Van Dijk leave and blah blah blah, like
Liverpool needed a lot of things to go their way to guarantee this league title this season. Also,
that's nonsense. That's nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
We've had adversity, but different types of adversity. We've had adversity like not signing anyone in the transfer window, having a new manager, needing to find the DM from within the club in Ryan Gravenberch. You never take these things into account. Salah is having an all-timer season. Like all of these things, like there's a reason why he's about to break Henry's record potentially, like 27 and 17 in 29 games. Are you mad? That's not normal.
I know, but Man City to fall off the way they've done, Arsenal to face injuries to two of their best players throughout the season, that is a little bit beneficial to Liverpool.
Yeah, but Man City fell off for us both. Like when Man City fell off, it's good for Arsenal too. It's not just good for Liverpool.
Okay, but Arsenal also having two of their best players out for an extended period is a massive benefit to Liverpool.
Yeah, we've had injuries too. We've had injuries this season, but not as much as Arsenal did, but we have had injuries.
The thing is, I'll say, right, is I think even if we had our full fit team and Liverpool had a full fit team, they attack better than us. If you just watch them play and how creative they are, they attack much better than us. And that's where I think we need to improve. Because I've seen my team struggle against low blocks for way too long for this to be like, oh, it's a one-off game. I saw it last year against, was it West Ham? We had like so many shots and they win a goal, win on a counter-attack. I've seen it against Fulham as well. That's where my real issue lies. That's where I'm putting all my focus towards right now. That's the problem. I think if we can solve that, it'll put us a lot closer, if not get us over the line. And it has to get us over the line as well. But I still think Liverpool last year, if I'm right in saying, when obviously you won the Carabao Cup, you had a lot of injuries. So you did a crazy job to win against Chelsea, and then you kind of fell off towards the end of the season in the title race. But how many of your key players were missing? I think quite a few, no?
Oh, a lot of them.
Injuries.
A lot of them.
Exactly.
Actually,
So
I actually
maybe
did this with Egal, like I think a month ago. I read him the team that we fielded
Yeah.
against Man City at Anfield in
Yeah.
like the title decider.
yeah, and
We
I'm
had
pretty sure
like
that was a game. It kind of
yeah,
surprised
we
me
had
because you
like
guys dominated them as well in that game.
yeah. We had no Salah.
Yeah.
We had Elliot
It was a
playing
draw,
right
but I think
wing.
you
We
should have
had
won that
Diaz
game.
and
Yeah.
Nunez. Yeah, we had like
Let's
we
just
had
be real though, real quick.
Juan,
I know you're doing,
Gomez, Kelleher. Like
I know you're doing super chats, Hassan, but just one sec, right? Because
go on.
we had Saka, we had Odegaard against Everton and Fulham. We drew both those games.
Yeah, exactly.
We had
That's
them
what
for
I'm saying.
Chelsea. We drew that game. We had Saka for Bournemouth and Newcastle. Yeah, we didn't have Odegaard, but we lost both those games. So there's been games where both of these players have played. We just haven't been able to break them down, or we haven't been able to take the thing. So it definitely is kind of a style or management thing as well as the injuries. And this is why I'm not taking anyway everything from Mikel, because some people make out like, well, he had his hand tied behind his back. What could Mikel Arteta do? Well, this is his squad, and every single one of these players is his, other than Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka, who come through the ranks, and obviously Saliba bought by Emery. So I'm looking at it now, thinking, yeah, this is definitely more on Mikel a lot this season, and not a lot of people want to
It's
say
too
that.
recurring. It's too
There,
recurring.
there are
Yeah.
there are 4 games this season where I look at where Arsenal had no controversy, no injuries, no VAR decisions, nothing go against them if you would like, and that's Newcastle away, Fulham,
Mhm.
Everton at home, and Chelsea away. I
Yeah.
think those 4 games specifically, you look at it and you're like, come on, like there was no controversy, there was nothing, and this debunks Egal's point.
Man
that
United as
he-
well. Man United away as well.
Yeah, Man
It's just
United had Amad Diallo out, they had Lisandro
Yeah,
Martinez out,
United as well.
Ugarte didn't play.
And they
Not
should have
in
beat us in the
Forest.
second half.
But then people will say Forest and Man United away, we had no players. But Kai Havertz is the only guy that's really out, and Saka. Let's be real, like everyone's
Yeah,
kind of
right
back
now. Yeah, but I
We
think if they're
definitely
both fit as
had-
well, we win our recent games, but it was those games you mentioned, Everton as well, at December time. They were all fit. There was no excuses.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah,
fit.
exactly.
You can't go break them. You can't go break them down. Liverpool break them down. That's the reality. They'll find a chance. They'll make a chance. They might concede a chance. We had no chances conceding that game, but they'll make a chance. And that's how you win games of football. Is you
Yeah.
make
Liverpool
chances
have
to
been
score
better,
goals.
Bhavs. Do you know what I mean? Like Liverpool have been better.
Bro,
You
that's
just
the
gotta
reality.
accept it, innit? And like move on. And people that are making excuse and all this, that, and the third, fair play. But Slot's done an unbelievable job. You know, Liverpool are on for 97 points if they win the rest of their games. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
That would win the league last year and the year before as well. So
Yeah.
Hey,
let me
it's
just
crazy.
do these last 2 ones so we can talk about Isak a little bit. Egal, bro, I despise Liverpool, sorry, but please stop, is what Godswell is saying. Big up Godswell. If it's not the attack only, it's Arteta's mental strength, which is weak, that spreads to the rest of the players. I think that's an interesting way to look at it. And we will see if you're right or if you're wrong, AMT. I think Madrid is going to be a very tough mental test for the team as well, because obviously all the odds are against Arsenal. I'm completely objective with this. Like, I don't expect Arsenal to do anything in that game. But we will see. You could be right. You could be right. Saka was on for an all-timer season. Huge miss. Yeah, to be fair, Saka is one of the players I've regularly defended. Like, I don't say anything negative about Saka. I've always said he's better than Palmer and better than Foden. And Egal will vouch as does with weekly content with me. So, yeah, I'm not anti-Saka or anything. I'm anti-you, Diallo, because you pretended to be a Barcelona fan the whole time when I told you you're an Arsenal fan, and just speak up and just be a man and just admit it. And now you're like, oh, I'm an Arsenal fan. Just say you're an Arsenal fan. You can support Arsenal and Barca. No one dictates who you can support, bro. Like, you get me. Anyway, like, subscribe, guys. Isak. I want to ask Potts this first. I feel like I'm starting with Potts with the sections like every time. I'm sorry, but he's a celebrity, you guys, so he has to go in 15 minutes. So, Potts, Isak to Arsenal, is it unrealistic or is it realistic? Or do you think it's going to be a Sesko summer?
The only way it's realistic is if Newcastle are willing to sell for a certain price, because people say everyone's available for a certain price tag. I just don't know if Isak will be obtainable, if I'm honest. I think he could be unobtainable to everybody and not just Arsenal. Newcastle have got to be in a scenario where they're like, do you know what? Yeah, he's forced for a move. He's not happy here. We're going to take money and let's move on from it. And I don't think any of those things are happening. I don't think Isak's unhappy at Newcastle. I don't think Newcastle wants to sell. And I think if they were to sell, I think it's going to be a ridiculous fee, close to 150 to 180 or something mad like that, which will just put a lot of clubs off. So I think he's staying at Newcastle. The only thing it could be is if Newcastle completely fall off now, finish 8th, and then Isak says, do you know what? Yeah, it's time for me to go. And then they force a move. A lot of people are seeing the scenario of Arsenal and Declan Rice and Arsenal and Isak. The difference was Rice was happy to say, look, I've won my trophy. I want to go progress my career. And I don't think Isak is there yet. I think Isak is looking at this summer as Newcastle thinking, right, they've had four transfer windows they haven't been able to spend because of PSR. They now can. And I'm not even joking when I say this. And I said to you, Sam, I think Newcastle could have a phenomenal summer window and have a really good season.
They can.
I really think they can. And
they're
I look
even
at the
linked
money
to like
behind them.
Buemo and stuff. Like they're doing their job.
They go and get a right winger like Buemo or Kudus. They'll go and get a backup striker to Isak. They go and get a proper midfielder that can cover. They go and get a centre half pairing for a partner for Botman. They go get a goalkeeper. They're pretty much there, because their fullbacks are looking very good in Livramento and Lewis Hall. I'm a big fan of their midfield trio. I think Tonali, Joe Linton, and Bruno have been unbelievably good. Gordon's phenomenal. Isak's unreal. They're looking good. So I don't think that Isak is unrealistic to leave Newcastle, but they're going to have those circumstances and consequences for it. I also look at the scenario of Arsenal and I think, are we going to go and lump 120 million on one player? Maybe. But we saw what happened before. I think we're more than likely to get a Sesko. And I think we're more than likely to look at other areas. And I think maybe that winger coming in alongside Sesko will be what we spend 120 million pound on. I don't know if that's going to be Nico Williams, Ademola Lookman, Cunha, all these names that are being linked with Arsenal. Zubimendi today is massively linked with Real Madrid. Is that going to hamper what we try and do with Arsenal? A lot of people say that won't happen because he won't get into their team. But Real Madrid don't care about that. They don't go and buy people to play in their first team. They go and buy people to be a part of their squad. So that's the difference. So with Arsenal, I think Isak would be tempted. I think he'd also be tempted with Liverpool. And I think he'd also be tempted with Barcelona. I don't think there's one that's like, Barcelona and Liverpool. Nah, Arsenal it is. I don't think they would do that. I think he'd look at that and just go from there. So that's where I'm at. Can
I just say one thing? 4 days ago, I said my unpopular opinion is I don't think Isak or Zubimendi joins Arsenal. I don't. And this is not an insult. I think that with Zubimendi, I really do believe he's going to be the Modric replacement. Zubimendi, they get two things like done with one transfer, which is the Modric future replacement, and I do think Camavinga ends up leaving this summer, because he has been linked heavily to a Manchester City move. So it's a possibility Camavinga, one of these guys, leaves. So Zubimendi will replace him and be the Modric replacement for the future. And I do think, and I'm gonna throw this to Bhavs, I think Arsenal have been linked to Sesko way too many times for this not to be a thing. Like I don't see you just pushing Sesko to the side. I do believe you will sign Sesko in the summer.
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic. I'll be real. I do not see it happening because A, the price tag's too big, and B, there's too many holes that we need to fix to spend basically most of your summer transfer funds on that one area. Now, cool, if we sell someone, Martinelli goes Saudi or Trossard goes there, you'll get some funds in there, so maybe that could help out. But the teams that we're dealing with here, Arsenal and Liverpool in the Premier League, are two of the most slowest teams when it comes to transfers. So if this doesn't happen, there's not teams that keep putting bids in and left, right, and center. It's like negotiations, they're negotiating. I think the player could be convinced, but if Newcastle get Champions League football, why would you want to leave? I think Newcastle's midfield is up there as one of the best in the league. Tonali, Guimaraes, and Joe Linton, that's an insane midfield. And we talked about Burma on the right wing, whoever that is. And they will sign players there. I think it could be a Burma because he's got his contract expiring as well. Defensively, if they make a couple more good signings as well, the fullbacks are very strong as well, Livramento and Lewis Hall. There's a strong team there and an atmosphere as well behind the scenes. So I feel like Newcastle, for me, Champions League football, I wouldn't want to leave. You just won a trophy there. And they're a young team as well. They're up and coming. I think they're a threat, to be honest. I think they're a real big problem next season if they get Champions League football. If they don't, FFP might play a part. They might not be able to sign as many players that could play a part as well. But even if they don't get Champions League football, I don't think Arsenal spend that level of money on Isak because I think we've got too many holes. I think we have to address obviously center forward, left wing as well. Maybe sign a Williams as a profile. I think, Isak for me, it's not happening. And that's why I'm more focused on Sesko. I think that's a more attainable target. He's got a release clause. And he's the next explosion player in my eyes, where Isak's already exploded and he's become a world-class striker. It's annoying because I want to sign the player now, but apart from Isak, there's not many strikers out there that I think are already Premier League proven as well. You have to take risks then. If you're Gyökeres out Sporting Lisbon, even Sesko is a massive risk. Aved Ekitike is another name as well. They're all exciting, but they're risks at the same time because they've not done it in the Premier League. So, I think Sesko's the one. I think that's the one we're going to sign because it's the most realistic.
Would you be happy with that though, Bhavs, Sesko?
I can't lie. If it's Sesko, I'll be excited. but I'd be concerned. Both ways. The reason why I say concerned, he's still young. He's still raw. He ain't ready to, like, he's not Isak, basically. And if we go off, you know, what other Arsenal fans believe as well, that we have to have a perfect season, he's going to have an impact. He's going to have a major impact.
I think
straight
you should
away.
be fuming if you sign Sesko because of
Same.
everything you just said.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I'm saying.
I'm using your own what you just said, which I
Yeah,
agree with,
yeah.
which is you're ready to win now. So let's say
Yeah.
essentially, let's say Sesko becomes the next Isak 2 years from now. Do you think you have time to wait 2 years?
That's what I'm saying. That's what my concern comes from. That's where my concern comes from, because I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, a lot of Arsenal fans will look at the potential and go, yeah, guaranteed he's going to work out. I think it could work out, but next season, though, that's the question. Can he come in next season and score the goals? So it goes both ways. Show ambition. We have enough money to sign Isak in terms of overall budget, but we also have to address left wing as well. So then it goes down to Mikel Arteta. Does he think Isak on his own wins you the title? Most
Yes.
Arsenal fans would agree. But my issue is we can sign Isak and still struggle creativity-wise, and Arsenal fans will then go and say, left wing can improve as well, maybe number 10 as well. So I want to kind of address most holes, and I think that's the most reality. That's the biggest reality this summer. I think that's the most realistic. I don't know. I don't think Isak's realistic right now, because I think Newcastle are a very good side, and I feel like the price tag will be too high, and I think Arsenal will go for a left winger and a striker. So then I think it will be Sesko, but I do have a concern there.
It has to be Gyökeres and Lookman for me. They're the
Mhm.
two that I want, striker and left wing. I think Lookman's ready now, 27. He's been doing it. He's obviously doing it now currently. And I think Gyökeres is just an all-rounder. I think he can score all types of goals. And he's been phenomenal now for the last couple of years. So I'll be really excited by those two. I feels like Sesko and Williams are probably the two that we'll go for. And Zubimendi, obviously. I'm not saying that would be a horrendous window. They're obviously players that we need. But I'm looking at Andrea Berta's appointment as being the most exciting appointment for me. I look at that now and I think, yeah, you're the guy who needs to have the most powerful voice at this football club. You're the guy who now needs to take control, and Mikel Arteta needs to take a back seat. He's tried, but with the Lokongas, Tavares and Fabi Vieiras, he's failed miserably. We need to now go and get somebody who knows what they're doing. A couple of gems, maybe, like the Diogo Jotas and Mateus Cunhas of this world that he signed. Rodri for 20 million for Villarreal. This is the sort of guy we're talking about. He needs to now say, right, forget this Sesko, forget this XYZ. This is what we're going to be doing. And I think we need to hand over the keys to Berta and allow him to have the summer that I would have more reassurance and confidence in, because I never have an unbelievable excitement for the summer with the Cronkies in charge. I never have, if I'm honest. We've been left short every single window, in my opinion, since the Cronkies have been here, right? But with Berta in charge, I feel like he can get a couple of absolute gems. So I've got more confidence in Berta than I have Arteta, if I'm honest.
Also,
Do
Dan,
you guys see this happening? Because this has been,
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, the way some of these Arsenal like Twitter accounts have been, it's almost like a WWE main event at this point.
no,
I
you know what? We need to understand that Andre Berta is going to be coming in, and he's going to have targets for the club that the club might not have already spoken about, and there's going to be targets that the club have had before he walked in the door that we're going to be also looking at. Now, how they work, how they mesh and work, we'll figure that out maybe later on. But right now, it's not a thing where it's Arteta versus Berta or this guy versus that guy. I think everyone needs to come together and work in tandem, and I don't think it's going to be like a butting of heads. Yeah, I think it's going to be a situation where you see the academy, and the sporting director and the manager all working together to try to get the same goal. And this whole thing about people working against each other. Somali Flame's a Chelsea fan. Of course, he'd be wishing that upon us. He'd love to see a director and Arteta butting heads, but I don't think that's going to be the situation. And
the thing is, he butt heads with Diego Simeone all the time, but they just have a love-hate relationship and got through it.
And sometimes
That's
butting
how
heads
winning
is not
culture is made,
necessarily
though.
a bad thing. It just means you guys disagree on a target, and you might and it might be working out to your benefit. Look at Mo Salah at Liverpool, for example. I'm pretty sure Klopp wanted somebody else.
Julian Brandt, I think that was.
Julian Brandt.
We wanted Brandt and Gotza. We got Salah.
And going back to Isak,
Yeah, and
guys, be prepared for a long summer. We're going to be linked to Isak, Gyökeres, every single person under the sun. We know we're going to sign a striker.
But don't you
at this
guys
point-
think there is a middle ground on this? Why does it have to be either Isak or Sesko? Why can't you get a striker if you would like?
Gyökeres.
It's a bit more
we were
proven.
linked to Lissandro.
But even like, let's say, I'll give you an
Martinez.
example. Yeah, even like someone, exactly, like Lautaro Martinez, Brian Mbuemo. You don't have to go spend 120 million to get the best striker on the planet, but
100%.
at least get someone a bit more proven.
You know what? I know where I agree on that as well. Is you look at Mikel Arteta's target in January and the bid he made. You know, he advocated for Watkins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think he agrees with that. I think he wants to win now as well, and I think he sees the pressures building as well. That he goes, yeah, the fans trust the process and stuff, but
Would you rather
we need to win,
Watkins or
we need to win
Sesko?
titles. Do you know what? I think a lot of us fans say Watkins. I think it's a safer deal. It's a much safer deal. Sesko would be a more of a better signing. When I say a better signing, you have to look past Mikel Arteta. You don't want the manager to be the centerpiece of the club. I'd rather have that as a sporting director. Someone who I can see last in the club 20, 30 years and it's overseeing the entire project. Mikel Arteta could have another 5 years at Arsenal, a year at Arsenal. But once he goes, if he's the entire piece there, the entire puzzle falls apart. Well, I see at Liverpool right now, they let obviously, I think Edwards left in a period of time, but he came back now. They've got a
he's
guy
back.
there who's got such a level of expertise where once Klopp left, he obviously identified Arne Slot as the guy, and now Liverpool on set to win a title. I don't want to be a case at Arsenal where, like United were in Ferguson's era, Ferguson was the main guy, he leaves United, and they all fall apart because he held everything together. It can't be a manager. I want to see Mikel as more as a first-team coach. He's at least coach in terms of coaching players, improving them. That's his strengths. Keep him there. And I thought, of course, he's going to have advocated for his players. But I want Berta to be the guy who runs the entire club, who goes, you know what, Mikel, now that you're leaving, cool, I know who to get next. I know the philosophy of players that we've signed as well, because I'm the guy in charge. Because it makes the most sense. It's the most sustainable going forwards.
Can I present you all with a name that you have never been linked with for like a really long time? Osimhen. Why don't you just go get Osimhen?
Osimhen
3
as well.
million.
I think the reports, if they're to be believed, is that, and I think this is why a lot of big clubs haven't gone for him, because a lot of clubs want strikers, by the way. He's going to get a test right. So there's a reason behind that. And I think it's be the wages to, or fees to the agents and stuff like that. I think that's causing the biggest issue there. But quality-wise, if you ignored all of that, Osimhen's the guy. Osimhen's the guy. He's
Maybe
the most
price
ready-made.
wise as
doesn't
well.
want him.
Price-wise,
50.
release clause, he is the perfect profile for what Arsenal want. I actually think if you go to Arsenal fans last season, before it became available that he was actually, you could go and sign him, I was like, oh, he's the guy who we go and sign as a phase 5 striker, and he becomes the go-to name. And then Sesko came out of nowhere as well, and then now you got Isak this season as well. But Osimhen was the original option that a lot of Arsenal fans wanted.
Why
and it was kind
didn't
of the
we
dream
get-
target.
Why weren't we ever seriously linked to Osimhen though? That's the thing.
There were some reports, but I think that's the reason why most clubs haven't
I
gone
don't
for
think
it.
we've been seriously linked to any of them because I don't think Arteta's wanted any of them, bruv.
I think
Arteta's
Sesko's the
not
only
wanted
one.
a striker.
Yeah.
Even
Sesko's the only one
Gyökeres,
who
he
go
has
for.
a release clause. Gyökeres has a release clause.
We're not going to go
Osimhen
for
took on
Gyökeres.
for a similar price.
I don't see it happening. And the reason why I just go for what I'm seeing. Now we don't know. We're just seeing from reports, but that's what the club wants us to see, basically. But
Hey,
I've not seen anything so far from Gyökeres' side of things, and I think he could go to a big club, by the way, because I saw him against Arsenal this season. He caused issues like Saliba and Gabriel. I know we won the game 5-1, but you know his power in his shots, his ball striking, he's a top striker in my eyes. But I don't know. I think the reason why they go Sesko, and it will hurt Arsenal fans, some fans that want to win this next season, is they might go, look, we signed Sesko. Let's say Arteta won the title next year. We've still got Sesko as a piece for the next manager to take over. And then it's a striker where say Sesko goes somewhere else and absolutely bangs the next 2 years. They might not win a title at that club, but Arsenal fans go, oh, he's a striker we should sign now. So I think that's what they'll do. They'll go for the safer asset. But if it came down to me, I'd go for Watkins. I'd go for someone like Watkins, ready-made, now, scores the goals and wins the title next year.
all right. So we get Watkins, we get a left winger. We still need to address the midfield. With Partey and Jorginho leaving, we now are going to be down 2 bodies in that midfield. And one of them, Thomas Partey, who's been one of our most crucial midfielders. We need to go and strengthen in that midfield. Zubimendi looks like he might be headed to Real Madrid. Bruno G, I don't know if he's going to be leaving. Who do we get in the midfield now? That's another issue.
We need so many players. People are crazy when they say we need 3 players. We need double that. Like, real talk, the amount of players that are going to naturally leave through natural wastage, we're going to be looking at losing, obviously, a backup goalkeeper and Sterling going back from their loans. We're going to be losing Tierney. We're probably going to be losing Zinchenko and Kivior. Partey and Jorginho look like they're going at the moment. We've got Trossard, who potentially has to be sold if he's got 1 year left. We've got Jesus, Tomiyasu, and Havertz, that are all long-term injured. This isn't going to be a pretty summer if we get 2 or 3 players in, people, yeah? We're going to need to go and get another backup goalkeeper. We're going to have to get a backup for Kivior, obviously leaving. We're going to have to buy 2 midfielders and a front 3. That's like 7 players.
I don't expect us to buy 3 forwards, maybe 2. And I
2 forwards,
expect us to get a backup keeper, 2 forwards, a midfielder, and maybe a defender. 6 players max.
But everything you just said is exactly why every time I'm asked about Isak and Arsenal, like even on another show, I just think you just have too much. And by the way, I said the same thing for my own
It won't
club.
happen.
Like I think this Isak thing. Here's the thing, right? There's two scenarios here. Newcastle get top 5, which is possible. Newcastle don't get top 5. Newcastle get top 5. I think we might as well just give up. Just like, just try for like a day in the transfer window and then give up the day after, because I think he's gonna stay. But then if they don't make top 4, you do have a chance. But at the same time, Newcastle are asking for 120 million. They are. So they're not asking for pennies here. Like they're talking about top dollar. So if we need like a left back and a center back and a DM for us, if you would like, and for you guys, as you just stated, because Isak alone doesn't solve your problem. You need a left winger, essentially, minimum another forward. As you said, you need a backup for Odegaard because Fabio Vieira is not good enough. And maybe one of Jorginho or Partey leaves. Now you're in a position where you might need a DM, which is why you're looking at the Zubimendi. So all of these things, they matter. So that's why I'm saying, like, I just don't see a scenario in which Isak joins Arsenal, to be honest with you, or even my own club, Liverpool. Like, I just don't see it. I think if they get Champions League football, he probably stays.
I think they will. I think they will.
Yeah.
I think
they'll get fifth. I think they'll get fifth.
Yeah, they'll get fifth, bro. They're a very
Yeah.
good side.
You think they get it
I
over
don't think
Chelsea?
that happens if they're winning the Carabao Cup. Either now they go like, we won a trophy for the first time in 70
So
years.
who's going to get knocked out if Newcastle get it?
Or
Chelsea.
the other way around.
I think Chelsea get knocked out. Yeah. I think Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't think
stable.
Chelsea make top 5, by the way.
No,
I'd say
no,
Chelsea.
the hot
Newcastle's
take,
11.
even
Yeah,
if they
Newcastle's
get
11 is better.
even if they
I
get
think
Europa
City and
League,
Newcastle, innit? City
guys,
and Newcastle.
even if they get Europa League, what
Forest.
reason do Newcastle have to sell Isak or Bruno G right now?
No, they won't sell them. They stay.
They don't have a
contracts.
reason to sell him, Egal. But
They're
if they
staying.
don't get Champions League, I think Isak himself might want to leave. You get
They-
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fair enough, but they have one of the most ambitious projects potentially.
Yeah, but if you're in Isak's place, you ain't gonna sit around. Like, you want to play in the San
26 now
Siro, at
as
the
well. He wants to,
Bernabeu.
yeah.
Like, you want to experience Champions League, Like,
Hey, at this point,
Isak
I
probably
have-
looks at himself as like what, the second, third, or best striker on the planet.
I think
think he's the
Isak is
best
going
right
to
now.
turn into a Zaha situation or a Harry Kane type situation where we always link him to new clubs every window going forward. But I think Newcastle are going to just be good enough to keep him, but also not good enough where they're going to go on to push to win the league or
I
anything.
will say though, there's a change. There's difference there though. Kane and Zaha, they're kind of boyhood club players. So even for them, they're like, do I want to leave my boyhood club? Isak's not a boyhood Newcastle fan.
But
And I
Isak
think
is
in
now a
terms of-
legend.
Oh, he is a legend for sure. But I think I'll ask you guys the question: do you reckon if he went to Liverpool or Arsenal, his superstar profile surely rises, like in terms of his
Yeah.
name in the game?
Mm.
And I think that plays a part as well. These players understand that it's not just a football thing, but marketing wise as well. They want to make the most money possible. And I think going to clubs that, with all due respect, are bigger and have bigger followings across the world will raise his profile. And of course, are in the Champions League as well. But I think Newcastle this season they're too good a team not to get in the Champions League football. When you look at the quality of Chelsea right now, I saw them come to the Emirates, they were bang average. I've seen us play Newcastle and they've played us off the park. So I'm just basing off that game alone. They're going to get Champions League football and I think Isak stays.
And I think Newcastle next season could actually do a madness. I'm not even joking. I think they could go into the summer and go boom, 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 5 players and go rah. Yeah, forgot they were rich. You can tell they are, and they'll go and have a good season. I'm not saying they're going to go and win the league, but I think they can go and do a madness.
Do you know
I think
what?
they can go.
It's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. I think the
I think they
quality they
could.
have midfield wise. Then up
I
front,
think you
Gordon,
look, you had another 5 or 6 players like we're talking. We need. We want that summer. Newcastle have that summer and keep their
Newcastle,
players.
yeah.
They haven't
Yeah.
got far off what Arsenal have got. Real
I
talk.
need
just
to
want to
show
make
it
it
as well.
clear though, Dan, we might want 5 or 6 players, but we don't necessarily need 5 or 6 players to actually go and win the league. We're not.
I
that
think we
far
do,
off.
Egal. I think we do, Egal.
No,
We
Egal,
win
you
the
don't
league
need
and sign
5
only
or
3
6
players.
players.
Look
I
at
I don't
Liverpool
think
very
this
lucky.
season. They
Yeah, I don't think you need
Sam,
5 or
going
6
into the
players.
summer, going into
Yeah, you
summer
don't
last
need-
season, you needed 4 players. You were mentioning midfielders, defensive cover, right wing, all this stuff. You didn't get any of that. You still won the league. Man City.
No,
numerous
Egal.
times-
I'll tell you something. You don't
no,
need 5
I'm
or
just-
6 players. You
I'm
don't.
not. I'm not.
I think
I'm
you
not
need. I think
talking-
you need 3, and then you need Rodri to get injured, and then you need Salah.
No. Stop that. Stop that. On a real banter aside, right? When it comes down to
Yes.
it, there's always holes in your team that come up. You're never gonna have a perfectly fit squad. Everybody backup, everybody to play. You're not going to have 2 perfect backup 11s.
No, this is true. You don't have the perfect
All
squad.
right,
So-
Egal, let me ask you then.
when
How
I
many
hear
players
Dan
do we need to
say-
win the league? Now, how many
Dan,
players do
when
we need to win the league? Tell
Dan,
me.
when I hear you say we're going to always be left short like we always do with Arsenal, I think every team is going to feel like they're left short in certain positions, no matter what.
So tell me how many players we need to win the league.
I don't think we're that far off. I think we improve our attack, keep our midfield stable, and get ourselves like a backup goalkeeper. We're good enough to win.
So what? 3 players? 4 players?
Say that again, Egal. Say that again.
I
Backup keeper,
think
what else?
the fact that Neto's leaving and we need an actual backup keeper, you're always
Yes.
going to have to bring him in. So if you want to exclude him,
That's one.
That's one.
we need a forward. We need at least 2 forwards
Agreed.
and midfield
Three.
cover. So 4 max.
So I said we need 5 or 6, and you said no, we don't. But you were saying we need 4.
No, but the only reason why I'm including the backup keeper is because really and truly, Neto's not
I
going to be
included
a
the backup
keeper.
goalkeeper. I include that as well.
Yeah,
We need 5. We need 6 players at the bare minimum, in my opinion, to win the league. That's what I think. Because
You could
otherwise, we're
just
going
get
to
the
get
keeper on loan
I don't
again.
disagree with you there, but I'm saying, Dan, if we don't go and get 6 players, nothing's stopping us from still improving enough in the
Yeah,
margins.
no, I
in
agree
our
with that.
attack.
I agree
go
we
and
can
win the league.
improve on 4. I agree with those 4 players, though. If you're saying it's 4, let's say, they have to be like wow signings. It can't be like Sesko and like, let's say, Jonathan David on a free and all this kind of stuff. It's got to be, we've got to go there
Okay,
and
let's
go,
go
right.
get Nico Williams, Ollie Watkins. Midfield, I have no idea who our target's going to be. I don't know about
We
you guys.
need it to be like Zubamendi and Reinders or Rogers or someone like that. That's what we need our midfield to be. This Rice thing in the 8 is driving me insane, personally. But
I don't
that's
think he's
another
been that bad to drive you insane. He's been very effective.
I think
No, he's
Reinders
been
is
good
a very
last
good shout. Very good shout, Reinders.
He's a good shot, but I don't see him starting alongside Rice if you get Zubamendi as well.
Well,
Yes, he
this is
could
the
rotate
problem
as
we
well.
got though, Bhavs, with Zubamendi and Rice. How's that work?
Yeah, I think the reality will be done. I think you'll play Zubamendi at 6, and it will be Rice at 8.
That's what
You
I
think
think.
we
and I
get
don't like it.
That's what it
Zubamendi?
is. No, I think there's a good chance we get him. I'm not saying it's guaranteed because we see Madrid in for him now as well. But with all the reports, we can't go off all those reliable reports all into speaking about and go, okay, we're not going to get him. There's a lot of people that think we are going to get him. So if you get him in, I'd say him as a 6. That's where it is annoying because the thing is, with Rice as 6 forward, there are levels of limitations of what he can't offer, what Mikel wants from his 6 in terms of the build-up phase. He can do it, but there's certain levels to what Partey offers. The thing is with Zubamendi, though, I don't see he's anywhere near as progressive as Partey either. He's more, weirdly enough, if you ask people that watch him play, he's probably better off the ball sometimes than he is on the ball in terms of how expansive he is passing forwards. He stands up more in terms of winning duels, interceptions, tackles, which is not what you associate with a normal Spanish midfielder. But I think Rice at 8, the only thing I like about Rice's 8 is he actually does burst into the box runs-wise. We saw it for England, actually, with the assist for Harry Kane. He does have that good intelligence there, but I don't think he's the quality I'd personally want. The dream for me has always been what Man City had, where they had a 6, Fernandinho, and the 2 8s, Silva and De Bruyne. And I thought that's what Mikel was going to go. But seeing Xhaka play there, now seeing Rice play there as well, clearly he's a bit more on the safer side of things. So yeah, I think that will be the future.
He spent
But
200 million on trying to replace Xhaka, and he ain't got someone better than him yet.
But
This is
the issue,
madness.
the thing I have though is you spend £100 million on Rice. What's his £100 million position? Is it
Exactly.
6 or 8? Because if you say
It's a
6,
6,
right?
but he keeps putting him in the 8, and it don't work for me. I know Egal says he's played a couple of good games there. He has, but he ain't there long term. Like, you look at the attributes of Rice off the ball and on the ball. He's like a Rodri, Carrick type player. He might not be as good as those
Do you know
two,
what though?
but he's got
I
those
don't think he's a
attributes.
6. I don't think he's a 6 anymore.
So
I've
what
changed
is
my
he
opinion
then,
on
Bhavs?
Rice.
This is what I don't get. We spent
I
105
think
million. We
to
don't
get
even
the
know what
best out of Rice, you play him in a pivot. I don't think it's a 4-3-3. I think to
Maybe
get the
he'll
best
do
out of
that
Rice.
with Zubamendi then.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. Rice, where Odegaard's role this year has been build up, dropping deeper. Next year, our number 10 can't do that. I want that to be Rice. Rice dropping deeper, then bursting forwards is a far better player. That's why he was excelling at West Ham. Souček would be the result, but Rice would burst forwards, not just hold the team down. I don't want him to just be limited defense because his movement in the final third is good. And I think next year,
Might go
rather than
4-2-3-1 then.
yeah,
How
4-2-3-1
about
type of
this,
formation.
guys? We bought Declan. Obviously, the position is. I don't think it's about being an 8 or being a 6. I think it's due to the personnel we have to our availability. With Partey and Jorginho also in the team, with what we had going into the season, Mikel Arteta probably said, I'm going to have to use Declan Rice a little bit more forward because he has those capabilities where the other guys are more suited for a deeper role where now with who we're going to be going into the next the team we're going to potentially be going into next season, if we have a player who can play that 8 role and Declan Rice can be a lot deeper, then maybe he'll utilize him in that position.
And hold that thought because I do want to ask you about next season in a second. Just give me a second, guys. Dan Potts does have to leave us. Big up to you, Dan Potts. Thanks so much for joining us. Football Transfer Podcast is in the description. Go give Potts a subscribe. Thank you, Potts. Appreciate you. Hopefully next time you can be less of a celebrity and stay a bit longer. But big up to you. Appreciate you.
Legend, boys. Love. Take care. All right. See you in a bit.
Peace.
Let me just grab these supers quickly, and then I'll just ask you guys about Arsenal's future. I don't want to keep you guys for too long. Big up to everyone locked in. We do have 1,500 people watching us right now. Please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're yet to do so. Every single one of you guys right here, right now, please like the video. Please subscribe. 1,500 people in here. Let's at least target 500 likes. We're on like 400 something. Let's get 500 likes minimum. Let me just grab these. And I'll ask the guys about the Arsenal future because I think this is a bit more interesting. Do you guys both agree that this season, khalas, it's done, right?
Oh, it's finished.
Okay. Fans still bringing the 16 wins in 18 games last season, but did Arsenal win anything? It's what AMT is saying.
I think more example, yeah. But the run's good. You can't deny the run was good. I think it's not something that Arsenal fans had seen prior to that level of consistency and going game for game with Man City. But I think the Villa game was telling though, because that was when the pressure really got there. First off, we didn't score, and then Villa going and scored that goal. I think that was I still think this team struggles with pressure. I'll be real. I've seen it too many times.
I've never asked you this person. Do you think Son missed on purpose?
100%.
I don't know. I think
the only one who knows exactly what you feel is me. Aston Villa 2-0 up at the Etihad last day of the season.
Do you think they lost on purpose? Oh, no, who's the player who was in?
I don't think they lost on purpose, but that I don't want to swear.
There was a chance, no?
But there's this bastard called Ollie Watkins right in front of goal.
Yeah, there was.
Could have given us the league, right? He missed, I'm telling you, a one-on-one, bro. I will never like Ollie Watkins.
That's crazy.
And I tell people publicly, the reason why I hate Ollie Watkins is this. Because if you just scored that Ollie, I would have been league champion. And you ruined it. Ollie Watkins, I hate you, Ollie Watkins. I'll never forgive you. I'm in my tie bag when it comes to Ollie Watkins. Can't stand him just because of that. If you just scored that, bro. Newcastle can spend 180 million not to break PSR, sleeping giant. This is true, specifically given the fact that they didn't spend last summer. Keep that in mind. Like last summer, they didn't really spend on anyone. So I do think that will kind of work into his advantage. So yeah, big up to you guys.
Good shot.
Big up to Aaron Lewis, who says, what does Aaron say? This summer is huge for Arsenal. Saliba, Gabriel, and Saka need to sign new deals or sell them as only 2 years left. Could be in the same situation as LFC. Do you guys have a contract situation too?
Not just yet. We've got most of the players we're talking 2 years.
2 years.
We're currently in discussions with Bukayo Saka,
but we're discussing
Saliba, and Gabriel to get new deals.
Yeah, I think the thing with Liverpool is with Trent's different because he's in his peak of his powers, but Salah and Van Dijk are a bit older. The players we're talking for Arsenal are all either in their peak or entering their peak, so it's easier to renew because they can. A lot of clubs, the way they work is they're businesses. They want to be safe, right? We're not all Man City. We're not all the teams that have the most money to offer players-wise, right? So they're looking at contract cycles. Can we get the guy to sign a contract, but in 3-4 years' time, how is he going to be value-wise, asset-wise? And I think that's why most of the players will sign contracts. But there's interest from like the likes of Madrid and Saliba. The one positive is Madrid are going for other centre-backs as well. But Madrid are Madrid. If they don't want a Champions League, they'll go for the best of the best. And if Saliba's available, they'll go sign him.
You actually agree with that? I've been telling this to Egal, and to
Saliba?
Egal, I told you they're gonna get Trent, and see, they got Trent. I'm telling you right now, if they're looking at
when
that
the rumors
team
come,
and saying Trent and Saliba next to each other, they can execute that.
I think they've got Ascension on it.
I've always said Saliba, if he leaves Arsenal, it would be because he runs his contract down. What different did Bhavs say from what I've said?
No, he's not talking about contract.
Actually, no. I feel like if I don't think he'll leave in a free because I think he'll sign a contract. That's my I think he stays at Arsenal for now. But in 2-3 years' time, even if we win a title, a lot of players when Madrid come calling, bro. I've seen it with Ronaldo at Man United, where he was winning Ballon d'Or at United. He's won the Champions League. He's won everything there. Madrid come, he goes. Trent, a Liverpool boy through and through. They're winning a title this season, for God's sake. I'm going to Real Madrid. Saliba loves Arsenal. I can sense it, but I've seen players that love their clubs more leave to go Real Madrid or Barca. So when I've seen other clubs lose their players, I've seen Fabregas go to Barca as well. I don't know, man. I think players like challenges as well. Even if Saliba wins a title at Arsenal, wins the Champions League at Arsenal, if you're a player, you want to experience different things because it's like you get limited time as a career. A lot of people's careers can go 20, 30 years, 40 years.
If he tells Arsenal he wants to leave, if he tells the Arsenal board he wants to leave, I do think they'll sanction a move. But at this moment in time, I don't think his head's turned yet.
No, not yet. I think not this summer. I think probably in the next 2-3. I think he signs a contract this season, to be honest, but that's more to retain value. I don't know if he's here for the next.
I hear where you guys are coming from, but all I'm saying is this summer they offer 90 million. Bro, he's gone. Like,
yeah, I don't think that happens.
I think we value him more than 90 million. I don't know about you guys.
yeah, but Tom,
If he's got a contract, he'll go for quite a lot. If he gets a contract, he'll go for a lot more.
90 million is quite a lot for a centre back. That's not like
it is,
that's
but
50 million more than Van Dijk.
Harry Maguire costs 80.
I can't lie to you. United, you have to ignore United when it comes to
Harry
transfer.
Maguire costs 80. So
Tottenham value Christian Romero at 75. You're telling me
I think Saliba could
only
be
worth 90?
Saliba could be the first. If he leaves Arsenal, could be the first £100 million defender. I think he could.
Yeah, it could even be like 90 plus 10 in bonus. You know how clubs do it, like 90 plus 10 bonus, something like this. I'd love Arteta in, no banter, but you risk going 900 million deep in a project which, let's be honest, is still a question mark. If it's gonna pay off, being real.
Just because Chelsea have multiple managers, they've not spent billions. Same thing with Manchester United, same thing with Tottenham. I think the reason why people are judging Arsenal so harshly with the price is because we've been so close and we haven't won. But in actual reality, that's the going rate for having to rebuild your whole team. We literally gutted the whole team, got a whole new defense, pretty much a whole new midfield and attack. The only area where we haven't invested money is in the attack. We would easily be north of $1 billion if we had to go and buy a right winger of the talent of Bukayo Saka, or even anything close to what we've been getting from Martinelli the last couple of years. So I don't think people realize what Arsenal have been doing. That's the going rate for how much it costs to rebuild your team nowadays. You're going to
Question
spend.
for you, Egal. Egal, what will you say if Isak leaves but he chooses Liverpool over Arsenal? What will you say then?
I'll be surprised that Liverpool were willing to spend that type of money and we weren't.
But that's not his question.
I'll be surprised that Liverpool were able to get him. Simple. I don't think Liverpool are going to spend the money that is necessary to get Isak. I think Liverpool are the kind of club, they will stretch that money across at least two players.
The only way we get Isak, I'll tell you as a Liverpool fan, is if we sell Nunez, Diaz, and Jota. No. Egal, you keep mentioning about Salah. Salah is a contract. He's not going to get me any money. Like, we're not going to sell Salah for 200 million. This is not 3 years ago. We're talking about Isak's money value as a value.
The reason why I say Salah leaving,
all three leave, we can sign Isak. Other than that, I don't see it happening.
The reason why I say Salah leaving is because if Salah were to leave, Liverpool would have to do something massive to appease the fans. And maybe
we don't care about appeasing the fans. Did they appease the fans last summer?
No, you would. There's no chance you let Salah go and it wouldn't.
If Liverpool sell Salah, let Salah leave. If Liverpool let Salah leave, best believe either Rodrigo or Isak are being signed. Somebody huge.
He's not a Salah replacement.
Yeah, and he ain't coming to Liverpool either.
I would view him as a Salah replacement.
No, that's when United saw Ronaldo and got Antonio Valencia.
Probably
you don't think Rodrigo from Real Madrid is a?
No, he's the best. He's the best. Like,
he's a very good signing, but Salah is so much more in terms of output that it would be such a drop off in terms of overall production.
Yeah.
Look, Ali,
Rodrigo comes in the Premier League. He's easily one of the best players.
That
position.
Salah's putting up like 40 GA. Rodrigo's not putting up straight away.
Maybe he's not going to do that right away, but in a couple of years, maybe.
But Liverpool are at a stage where I think the rebuild actually might start this summer, if you agree, Hassan. In terms of you're losing your key right back.
If Tooth stay.
Because there was no rebuild last summer. If you think about it, there was no rebuild in terms of
the midfield 2 years ago.
No, I'm talking last summer when Slot arrived. There was no like ingoing, outgoings. It was just
I think this summer we definitely will spend money. Yes, I think Kirk has at this point is a shoe in for Liverpool. I think it's gonna happen. We are gonna sign him. I think we're gonna sign centre back. I do believe we're looking at that midfield position as well. And like I said, Isak will be a Liverpool player if we sell Jota, Nunes, and Diaz. That's my honest opinion. I think those three sell, and we can get Isak in. So
I think the biggest challenge for everyone this summer is getting their recruitment right, because
Yes.
Man City have a huge job on their hand,
and they're against Eintracht.
and for them to challenge next season, they're going to have to do a lot of work this summer. Liverpool, they have to get those two big signings to sign their new contract, and then if you can further improve your attack from where and get some more
Yeah.
creativity, because Trent is leaving, and then from the Arsenal side of things, we've already mentioned it a lot, but as long as we can continue to keep our midfield strong and add two quality attackers, I think we'll be there and thereabouts next season, no matter what.
Yeah, I think Arsenal definitely will challenge. Club need to make a decision early, is what Leslie's saying. I hear you. What are the chances your owners
Man
do
City have the biggest challenge out of all three of us, though.
trusting Fenway Sports Group is like trusting a prostitute to be loyal to you. I said this, Craig. It's just
What?
not gonna happen. Yeah,
No.
yeah, you can't trust a prostitute to
Well,
be
one
loyal.
thing about FSG, you guys disagree with them a lot.
You watched videos before Egal where like a guy marries a stripper and shit, and then he acts surprised that
Yeah.
she cheated
Bro,
on him.
One
You
thing
can't
about
trust
FSG,
the Fenway Sports Group. You
one thing
can't.
about FSG, you might not like the way they get to the result, but they get the results.
No, they do not, because the result is not enough result, because it's too innate with the all-timer players that you mentioned. Big up panel, except bottom middle. This is what Fonzie is saying. You're such an asshole, Fonzie. You're such an asshole.
They,
King of Brazil, Gabi is better than Saliba, is what. Well, I don't even know how to
He's
say
had a
that.
better season. He's had a better season for sure.
I do think Gabriel has been better than Saliba this season. This is a very fair opinion, by the way. Magalash over Saliba.
He's
Yeah.
been more consistent.
LFC spent 115 million on one player in Caicedo. It's unlikely we get Isak, but I don't think that's the best argument. Egal. Yeah, look, for me, it's all about selling this summer. You get rid of Nunez, you get rid of Diaz, you get rid of Jota, you get rid of those three, you can go get Isak. Other than that, I'll be honest with you, Nags. We have too much. We have too much on our plate. We need to
What
fix
did you say
right
with
now.
the signings of Alisson and Van Dijk? I know it goes back, but was that under Edwards as well, where I think if you identify the right
Yeah.
player, you put the money on the table. And if Isak's
Yes.
the one you want, you go put the money on the table.
Yeah, if we do believe someone is the right player, we will put money on the table, yes. And the thing is with Alisson Van Dijk, that was the infamous Coutinho money. Thank you, Barcelona. You started
Yeah, it
all
was.
of
It
it.
was.
Appreciate you, Barca. Big up, Barca. Big up to Jack, who says the fact that we are a sell-to-buy club is ironically why we can get Isak if he wants to come. Nunes 75, that's what Saudi offered. Doak 30, that's what Bournemouth offered. Diaz 70, Barcelona, Bajcetic, Morton, and more. So,
Who's Doak?
and then he comes back and says, last time we sold big, we broke the goalkeeper and the centre-back record. So
Who's Doak?
you see, that's one thing about you guys. You guys sell
one
well.
guy, kid right winger.
Arsenal, we
Okay,
haven't
okay.
been able to sell well in a while.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
You need to start selling better as well. That's another thing maybe Berta was brought in for. Selling
What
better
Arsenal
is...
tend to do though is we spend and sell. So like, you know how Liverpool sold Coutinho to buy Van Dijk and Alisson. What we'll do is we'll go in like Rice's window. We'll sign our players, and then we'll try to sell players. That's how we. So I don't know if Berta changes that.
But you know,
I hear it.
Bhavs,
Look,
this year,
Igal, let me just ask this final question, just because I do want to wrap up and I don't want to keep you guys for too long. It's just these next 15 minutes, just a little bit to discuss on Arsenal's future. Big up everyone locked in, guys. Babs 14 is in the description. Go give him a subscribe. Egal Talks Football in the description. Give him a subscribe and go subscribe to Football's 12th Man. Big up to all of you guys. We are closing in on 500 likes. That was the initial target. Let's get there. Everyone, please stop what you're doing. Hit the close up the live chat and hit the like button right now. I just want to touch on Arsenal's future a little bit, because you guys have all spoken on it a little, and I don't want to keep you guys for too long, but it's a conversation in terms of where are Arsenal headed from here? Is there a clear plan? People have mentioned contract situations with players running in 2 years. People have mentioned, the Gabriel to Saudi Arabia stuff. People have mentioned the Saliba to Middle stuff, etc., etc. How Saka comes back and his injuries. Is there a clear plan for Arsenal's future? Egal, talk to me.
I think the clear plan is to improve the attack, and try to change out some of the older players in the team, and some of the players that we don't really view as part of the project long term, i.e. Jorginho, Partey, Zinchenko probably, and Kieran Tierney. getting rid of some of those guys and addressing the striker position, the left wing position, and bringing in some midfield depth and a backup keeper. As for the short to long term plan, the plan is obviously to improve enough in those key areas to get the league, and from there to get the experience where we're in winning and be able to then eventually push for the Champions League. I think the ultimate prize is to go on to win the league and the Champions League eventually. And for Mikel Arteta and the club to do that, we do need to just tune up some certain areas. I'm not too concerned about losing players this summer, and I don't think Arsenal as a football club is concerned about that. And yeah, as for Gabriel or Saliba or anybody leaving, I don't think we're looking to sell any of them. The one player I would look to maybe sell if we did get a lot of money for is the Martinellis. And I don't know about you, but Bhavs, if we did get a massive offer for Odegaard, I would be willing to move off Odegaard and maybe get a different type of attacking 10 that can be a little bit more of a goal scorer.
I don't know. Odegaard's a hard one. Odegaard's a very hard one. I feel like there's strengths and weaknesses right now because he's out of form. People are focusing on his weaknesses. So if you lose a player like Odegaard, you have to sign a Verts. I'm talking that level of player. And the issue I have is get that player in first. The last thing I want is you to sell Odegaard, have the money, the clubs know you have the money, and then you're gonna have to negotiate even more. So Odegaard's only a player I'd ever let leave if we had that other player in first, or Ethan becomes this well-beaten superstar as a number 10. I would never sell Odegaard in a position where he's still our starter right now. It's way too dangerous. I know Liverpool did it with Coutinho, but I'm not running that same risk on my club. I think Odegaard's a player that we keep for sure. He's a captain as well. You can't choose a captain like that. He's a major figure behind the scenes as well. So I'm not selling Odegaard right now. Martinelli, I can hear. I feel like at his age, there'll be more money as well. And if we sign a winger, he wouldn't be a starter straight away. But Odegaard's too integral to go and sell in one window.
Yeah, you know the worst thing is some people act like Arsenal are so far off, and it's like, why do you banter us if we're so far off? As if and talk about we bottling it every year, as if this team has not actually been that close to winning it. And I think that's also part of the reason why we get so much criticism.
We're not far off, but football's all about narratives. That's how it's always going to be. The team that wins.
And the narrative around Bhavs was that he's like this delusional guy. I can't lie to you. Speaking to you over this last hour 15, you're not delusional at all. You're actually.
I feel like I say things and people hear different things.
No, Bhavs is not delusional at all. Like the narrative around Bhavs is he's a delusional Arsenal fan, but he's not.
That's what I was hearing. I saw Said's tier list and I was like, people could I've said some mad shit. I might have said this player is good or bad. I've never said like this is the best. Havertz has ever done on door. Yeah, but Twitter, I've always made clear that Twitter is different to who I am on content creation wise, because Twitter is just about banter, jokes. Twitter, it's just about, do you know what I mean? That's what Twitter is about. Twitter's not about being serious. I'm not going to be a tactical on Twitter and give analysis. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? Whereas on YouTube, it's about being a thing.
I'm also surprised he's a cool guy. Look at you. So
it's because clips, that's what it is. It's clips. People clip me up in different ways. Bro, to be honest, the way I see it is I say certain stuff and people hear something else. So
you know what it is.
I don't know. It is what it is, isn't it?
People are gonna see the clips of you coming off Big Six backing up Kai Havertz and gonna be like, "Oh, he's backing up Kai Havertz. It's over."
Yeah, I think the issue a lot of fans might have with me is that as much as I can be critical, I can also be optimistic. A lot of fans I've seen that get the most praise in the Arsenal community, they're consistently just criticizing the club, and it's when they give praise, it's like, "Oh yeah, well done," not why well done or. I think what I do is I try to give both sides of it. And sometimes can I be positive? Yeah, but my view of life, just me personally, I'm more optimistic than I am pessimistic. Because I'm still younger, so I see life in a more, this can happen, that can happen more. Whereas people that are more older and have seen Arsenal struggle for longer, they find it harder to be optimistic anymore and they find it more painful. But for me, I always look towards the positives in life because it's my mindset in life, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been hardened by the age.
It's possible, but I think it happens to everyone.
That's the
hey,
Canadian people are positive in general.
Hey, I'm optimistic. I would like to say that if you speak to me about 90% of stuff, you might agree with me. It's just to Arsenal, the majority of the time, people disagree with me.
You. I definitely don't agree. Specifically Liverpool related. You have went on an unnecessary villain arc on a club that you should not hate. And your Twitter is not unhinged. Your Twitter is Liverpool central. Like if I want Liverpool news, I go to Egal. Like Egal, I follow you on Twitter and I see okay.
But you know what it is? it really comes down to the fact that we haven't won the league for 20 years, and whoever is our opponent is the team that I'm going to focus on. There's no need for me to focus on Spurs, Chelsea, Man United. Really,
Yeah, but your problem with Liverpool is you come out and you say like Liverpool deserves to win the league, but every time they face an opponent, he has a player injured, and the only reason why they won the league is VAR and injuries. So it's not you. So you don't think that we deserve to win the league essentially, but you say we deserve to win the league. So you're saying
well, you deserve to win the league, and your manager's done a good job managing the injuries.
Oh wow, I'm gonna make that into a 3-second short right there. Egal admitting that
Do you know what? I'll say Egal's what you call an Arsenal fan. When I say that, right, I don't know how it is obviously where you are, Sam, but in my in this UK area with school wise, it was you backed your club and you violated every other club. There was no giving praise, giving dues. But as content creators who speak to more fans than just Arsenal, you have to be a little bit more, open to other opinions as well. That's the only difference. But I think in terms of Arsenal fans, if I was just not a content creator, I'd be the complete opposite of being, I'll be neutral. Nah, I'm an Arsenal fan. What do you mean, bro? My team's the best. Your team's the worst. This is why. Because this is a team I support. So I need to make them look the best and your team look the worst. That's how I grew up in school, at least. Like in high school, it was always beef and United fans. Not really. I never hated Liverpool. I've never hated Liverpool in my life because I've never saw them as rivals. But I just thought, I think Liverpool cool. Like when you won the league in 1920, I was like, yeah, cool. I mean, I was probably kind of more happy for you guys. If you rank before this season, at least, because now I've got rivalry with you guys, it's personal. But prior to this season, if you'd asked me, City, or Liverpool, or Chelsea or United, I always say Liverpool. I'm like, look, give them the title. I don't really mind them as a club. But
even me 2 seasons ago, I wanted Arsenal to win the league. I didn't want City to win the league.
Rivalry just changes everything up.
I'll say this. I think.
Well, then I met Egal.
I think Hussam, if we speak about like African Cup or of Nations, or we speak about something that does not involve Arsenal or the Premier League or Liverpool or any direct rival of my team, we can have a normal conversation. Even if we're talking about just the Trent transfer, I think we can have a normal conversation. You agree with me?
I
just think anything revolving Arsenal, people just think I'm too polarized and they don't want to agree with me on anything.
I hear you.
No, but Egal's an important part of the community, innit? Sorry to cut you off. I think he's an important part of the community. You need to have both opinions. You can't just have everyone agree and Arsenal awful. That's boring.
The changing.
You need to have people that have alternate opinions, even if you don't agree with them.
Of course. Yeah. I welcome different opinions. I think it makes conversations a lot more interesting than just everyone agreeing. Odegaard can be that number 10. So what he did for Norway last game.
Yeah, he did good. 3 assists.
But I question the quality of opponent. He did well, but they're not Premier League. They're not playing low blocks. They're not giving you tight spaces. You know what I mean? My 10 personally, type of 10 I like is like KDB. Obviously, KDB is a good example of it. But players fire balls in behind, like an opening up like that. They're more technically loose at times in terms of they're going to risk more in behind. But Odegaard sometimes can be too safe for me. I still think naturally he's more of an 8, but it doesn't work when you got Zubimendi and Rice potentially.
Okay, fair enough. So this has been an absolutely incredible stream. Big up to all of you guys. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you to Bhavs. Thank you to Egal. Thank you to Potts as well. This was your Arsenal conversation, guys. I told you I'm gonna keep you entertained in this international break, and I'm delivering because I have Saeed on the channel at 10 p.m. UK time as well. I'm gonna ask him so many questions. Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna grill that guy like no other. If you and Arsenal fans, let me make something clear. The target is not you this summer. It will be you a little bit. The target is Man United. Because if I hit number 20 and it's 20-6, it's over for Saeed. He is going to have to block me. Man United fans, block me. I'm telling you all right now. You will all hate me like no other. Like I've equaled your league title tally and I've got double your Champions Leagues. It's over. Anyone, you can't even go to Old Trafford and sing 20 times Man United anymore.
Would you not say
we should have 16 right now?
Would you not say that makes you a bigger club than United? Now I'm going off logic. Chelsea fans give Arsenal. Now. Champions League makes you bigger. You've got double the Champions Leagues, same amount of league titles.
Yeah, I think we're a bigger club now. But I think if we equal the league title, there's nothing they can say anymore. You can't even sing 20
You
times
have to, haven't you? I mean, it's basically done at this point.
Yeah, so, I think we'll win it. I
say start the conversations.
Yeah, I will tonight. 10 p.m. UK time.
They're not the media darlings for nothing.
Bhavs 14 is in the description. Go give him subscribe. Egal Talks Football in the description. Give him subscribe. And please go subscribe to Pots as well. Football 12th Man podcast. Appreciate you all. Like the video on the way out and subscribe. And this stream is going to take you over to Saad's Football Corner. He's live now doing a Trent thing because he's a fraud. So we're just going to redirect to him. You get me? So see you guys on the other side, man. Go tell him Hussam Raid over there in the chat. Peace out.